In 2026, your Lakehouse is not just for reporting, it's powering real time AI agents and customer facing apps. When a cloud region goes dark, your business should not. But here is the hard truth: high availability is not disaster recovery. One keeps you running during a local glitch, the other saves you from a regional catastrophe. Today, we are architecting for the 99.99%, breaking down the latest 2026 strategies for failover, failback, and cross region resilience. Welcome to Architect Mindset, your blueprint for modern systems. Let us start with high availability. Databricks has made this almost invisible primarily through automated multi-zone redundancy and failover mechanisms integrated into its core platforms, most notably the newly general available Lakebase. When a primary compute node becomes unhealthy, Databricks automatically fails over to a secondary node. These secondary nodes are already running, which eliminates the need for new provisioning during a disaster. Applications use a single primary connection string that automatically routes to the current healthy primary node, even after a failover. Users can enable readable secondary instances to serve read-only workloads, which also acts as a standby capacity for immediate failover. For the control plane, core services are now multi-zonal by default, offering a 15-minute recovery time objective with zero data loss during a zonal failure. On the compute plane, if you're using serverless, high availability is already built in. The platform automatically detects a zonal failure and redistributes your clusters to healthy zones. For architects, this means the local outage is no longer a midnight wake-up call. The platform handles the recovery for you. Disaster recovery is the big red button for when an entire region fails. In 2026, Databricks handles disaster recovery and regional failover through a combination of managed disaster recovery services and customer orchestrated active-passive or active-active strategies. Let us understand the first design pattern, active-passive. This is the most common approach for general analytical workloads due to its lower cost and simpler management. Now here the primary region handles all interactive and automated production traffic, including daily data engineering and SQL workloads. The secondary region, it is a standby environment where no processes actively run until a failover is triggered. Assets like code, job configurations, and data are synchronized periodically from active to passive. Let us come to the second design pattern, active-active. This strategy is reserved for mission-critical, always-on applications where even brief outages are unacceptable. Here both regions are fully provisioned and serve production traffic concurrently. Also, every data process, like example a job, must be confirmed successful in both regions before it is marked as complete. Active-active is the most expensive and technically challenging setup, requiring strict CI/CD discipline to prevent configuration drift between environments. Typical use cases includes your high-frequency financial trading systems, global e-commerce platforms, or real-time streaming pipelines requiring exact one processing. Databricks, in partnership with major enterprises like Capital One, has matured a managed offering to simplify cross-region resilience. The first is the managed replication. Here the background compute processes automatically replicate critical workspace assets such as notebook source code, job configurations, and pipelines to a secondary region with low latency. Second, the read-only secondaries. The secondary region can be enforced as read-only until a formal failover is triggered, preventing split-brain scenarios and unintentional writes. Third is the customer-specified failover. So organizations retain full control over when to trigger a failover, allowing coordination across integrated business systems. To ensure operational continuity in a secondary region, Databricks recommends some core technical patterns. Delta Deep Clone. This is the primary method for replicating data. It provides incremental asynchronous updates for delta tables between regions, ensuring data consistency and reducing transfer cost compared to standard cloud-native geo-replication. Critical infrastructure, including workspaces, clusters, and networks, are managed via the Databricks Terraform provider to allow for identical, rapid deployment in the secondary region. Tools like Databricks Sync and CI/CD pipelines are used to push updates to both primary and secondary workspaces simultaneously. This ensures both environments are identical from a code perspective at all times. Now let us talk about the brain. Unity Catalog is regional, a metastore that lives in its assigned region, meaning the metadata, your table definitions, permissions, and schemas, is logged to that primary region's control plane. Now, to make disaster recovery work in 2026, you need a strategy for metadata replication. The modern cloud-native approach for 2026 is using Databricks to Databricks delta sharing. Understand it this way. You have a primary workspace in region A with metastore A and a secondary DR workspace in region B with metastore B. So you configure delta sharing to share data from metastore A to metastore B. Now you use a mechanism to deep clone the shared tables from region A into local managed tables in region B. So if region A dies, your data is already sitting in region B as local tables, ready to be queried. Now this method uses native Databricks protocols. It avoids complex custom sync scripts. It leverages the efficiency of delta deep clone. So this allows you to link tables across regions securely. A deep clone is a command that creates a fully independent physical copy of a delta table's metadata and its underlying data files. When you run a deep clone on a table that was already cloned before, it only copies the new or changed data since the last sync, making it highly efficient for recurring backups. Once the process finishes, the clone has no connection to the source. You can vacuum or delete the original table without breaking the clone. The second strategy is script-based metadata syncing. This is the brute force method where you manually keep the two regional metastores identical. You run a nightly or hourly script that reads table definitions and permissions from metastore A and applies them to metastore B. So both metastores point to the same underlying cloud storage. When region A fails, you spin up compute in region B. Because metastore B already has the table definitions pointing to the replicated storage, the tables are immediately accessible. The risk here is high maintenance overhead. If the sync job fails or lags, your DR site has stale metadata. The most dangerous DR plan is the one that sits on a shelf. In 2026, auditors and regulators expect proof of resilience. If you cannot fail back to your primary region without breaking lineage or losing data, your DR plan is not complete. Architecture is about certainty, and testing is the only way to get it. So let us understand this in 5 different strategies. First, the frequency mandate. Organizations must perform a complete failover to a secondary region at least once in every 3 months. A monthly review of disaster recovery procedures ensures that changes in architecture or team personnel are reflected in the plan. Individual services like data replication or identity sync are tested continuously using automated probes to detect failures before a disaster occurs. Second, live simulation and not just paper tests. So tests must be conducted under real-world conditions, including high data volumes and active user sessions, to validate that the secondary region can scale to handle the total production load. When detection is automated, a human on-call manager should still make the final decision to failover to avoid costly false positives. Third, data integrity and governance proofs. Every test must include a formal step to validate data integrity and ensure that governance, such as Unity Catalog permissions, is correctly applied in the new region. In 2026, a successful DR test is only passed if data lineage and auditing remain unbroken during the transition between regions. Fourth, automation and observability. 100% of the DR infrastructure should be deployable via infrastructure as a code, basically your Terraform, to eliminate manual configuration errors. Leading organizations must use real-time dashboards to monitor the health of their DR site, estimating the current RTO and RPO at any given moment based on live replication lag. Building a mission-critical platform means planning for the worst while architecting for the best. By leveraging Databricks' native high availability and automating your disaster recovery, you ensure your enterprise remains resilient in the face of any cloud storm. Now that we have secured our uptime, we need to secure our network. Join me next week as we dive into private link and VPC peering, where we'll show you how to lock down your data at the network level. Subscribe to keep building, and I will see you in the next one.